Hey, good morning, traders. Good morning, everyone. Rick Kaufman here with LMA Trading. And boy, I'll tell you what are you guys thinking about the markets yesterday that happened? Yesterday was quite the day, I think. And it was, I don't know. Did you see the bounce coming? And, you know, as I look at these candles here on the chart, we found support at the 21. And so with quad witching coming up tomorrow on Friday, um, we're right in this little zone. We've got some chop going on here. The VIX yesterday just dropped all day long. The volatility just went down. We never got any huge spike. So the market spiked up in the morning and kind of took, and then just steadily came after going down, steadily came up all day long. The ticks reversed. The ticks were down to start the day, and then the buyers came in pretty much all day, uh, and then they sold off. About an hour or so before the market, and then the buyers came in and bought the market up. And then, as soon as the market closed, or right before the close, we started getting a rise in volatility. So volatility is back up to about 18.57 on the VIX. And so, it's anybody's game today as far as what this market's going to do. So let's get into this video here. Well, this is Rick with LMA Trading, and just to make sure that we get some housekeeping done here, we are not, or I am not, a licensed financial advisor. I do not give financial advice, nor do I, uh, you know, give out trade alerts. Any trade or anything that I'm talking about here should not be misconstrued a um, as a suggestion to make a particular trade or any particular bias, be it a positive or negative on the market. These videos are part of my trade journey. They are part of my trade journal, and they are my education process as far as what I am seeing in the market. This helps me develop my trade plan for the day. And on top of that, it is the most important, I believe, is the most important time of the day is to sit down, take a look at these markets, and determine, how am I going to develop my trade plan for the day. So, this is a very important time to reflect on the market yesterday. I review my trade journal from yesterday, and then I turn around and review as far as what I saw. And did I get the direction right yesterday as far as what I was seeing in the market? Now, yesterday, I didn't really predict a direction of what I felt. I just kind of felt like the markets were at support. If you look at the Qs and the Dow and the Russell and the S&Ps, they are all below. They're all below the 21, with the exception of the Qs. Okay, so something to think about. And the Dow is reaching a level of what looks to be exhaustion. Also, the S&Ps, we're getting a ready signal here, so we are reaching the baseline here, possibly reaching some exhaustion. So let's get into our charts for the day. So let's take a look here. We're going to zoom over to our chart here on the Dow. And as you can see here on the weekly chart, this week, last week we were down. This week we started the week down, but we are green. It looks like the bulls have been in control for this week here, indicating here on the candle. We are in a weekly squeeze. We did have some good. The buyers look like they are starting to step in. September is typically a not a great month. When will we revisit these the all-time high on our daily? Yeah, we're at 91%, so we're 9% away from our daily high, which is 35,547. So we could very well be, we may not see a new high on the Dow. Most likely won't be in the month of September, possibly in October, but most likely, if it is October, it won't be till later October, and then we'll get into the last quarter of the year. The last couple of months, November, December, and have a good Santa rally is what I'm anticipating, and so that's what I'm seeing here on the Dow, but still very bullish chart. Everything is intact. We are at the 21. So this is where, we should get the support that we're looking at here. So, this here was the last downturn, or the last, SPX roll date and everything on the indexes. So you can see kind of like it looks somewhat similar here. Small bearish candle with a larger bearish candle, and then the markets went up. Kind of same thing as what we got here on the weekly chart. So we'll see if this trend can hold. So then when we look at the daily chart, we got down to the 2 ATR. I adjusted my Bollinger Bands here a little bit, tightened them up a little bit so I could get a little bit closer look on the price action on the Bollinger Bands. And when we look at them on the weekly chart, the markets are extremely constricted, very tight, coiling up on the long-term chart. And we did have the squeeze fire to the downside here last week. And so we're just basing here at around the 2 ATR, the negative 2 ATR, and catching some momentum up. But the markets are pulling back here this morning. So I don't, this is by far not even close to being over yet. So there's still more possible downturn here. But I like this here. I like this candle. And this is setting up exactly the way I was wanting to see it here to close out the week. So going into tomorrow, let's take a look at the Russell. The Russell, again, is a very is been trading since March, since we set this new high here back in March. Been trading pretty much sideways, a little bit to down. I've in this really tight range in this channel I drew in here, and so this is kind of setting up to the point where we've got a ready signal on our RAF down here on the daily, still running we got a new sell signal here this week here. Kind of a doji candle going into the last couple of days of the week, and we pulled back up to the 21. Looks like we are rejecting the 21 here as of right now, and the Russell is down 6.8 points, looking to go lower. So my bias on the Russell is right now, I think it's I'm rather bearish on the Russells. Let me just put it that way. So this is setting up real nice, looking at, a call credit spread on the Russell for Monday. And so that's what we're looking at on that. Now, let's take a look at the VIX when we look, so we can get a better picture of what's going on in the VIX. And I'm going to jump over to my daily chart on my one bigger chart on the VIX here. And I just think it's going to give me a little bit better view as that I want to see on the VIX. So let's go, that's a 1 hour chart. Let's go 1 year, 1 day. So I've got this descending trend line right here, and where we've seen these spikes in the volatility. And just something to note, with the exception right here, got to the price level of 25. But if you look at this, the spikes have not been as much. So when we go back to June of this year, here's our quad witching here. So this is kind of interesting, where we saw the spike in the volatility, and then we've come back. We haven't seen the spike in the volatility that we saw in this period of time. So, but we've had a gradual increase in volatility, and we're just trading for the last week or so, trading in this zone between 18 to 20. And so any spike in the volatility up to 20, I would probably be looking for a short term, maybe a 0 or to maybe 1 day DTE on an SPX put spread. There we go. Had to think about it for a second. And so that's kind of what we'd be looking here. But we are in a daily squeeze. We are firing to the upside on the RAF. So again, I'm probably going to venture to say we're going to see a little more upside on the VIX. So when I look at the 4-hour chart on the VIX, I'm looking at this here, and we are entering we have on the RAF, we have the AIM. So this looks like it's going to shoot and fire to the upside. It is in a 4-hour squeeze, a little bit on the downside on that, but we are picking up some momentum probably to the upside. That confirms this on the 2-hour chart and also on our 30-minute chart. So I would look for the VIX to begin to spike in the volatility and move back up towards maybe the 19 to 20 line. And if anything in there, we will be looking at an entry on an SPX trade for tomorrow. But at this point in time, I would like to see the setup on this because I'm rather bearish right now. A short term on the SPX, I believe with quad witching, the SPX is going to go to the downside tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot more volatility, I believe, in the markets here to going into this period. Let's jump into the S&Ps here. And after talking about the VIX, the S&P again, similar chart. It likes this 1 ATR as far as support. Seems to break a little bit below that. It gets close to the 21 and then pops. We haven't broke the 1 ATR on the weekly chart yet, but we have pretty much touched it here this week. But that also shows the support level at 44.33. We were holding the 44.33 the last we touched it here on what would have been looks like Monday, Tuesday, and then we closed right at it or right there at. Let's see, that 44. That was 44.37 for just 4 points away. We touched it, broke just below it, and then the buyers came in yesterday, as I was saying in the beginning, for a great day. But we are reaching a level of exhaustion, possibly. We've got a green ready. So the Bollinger Bands are tightening. So we may be seeing the S&Ps enter into a daily squeeze, which if it does that, I'm going to be pumped. This is what I would like to see and start that coiling action going into October for an explosive move upwards and back to the market that we have seen previously, going into what I would call a positive, really good Santa rally coming up here. So now let's take a look at the Qs. The Qs obviously is the stronger of the indexes, hasn't pulled back quite as much. The Bollinger Bands on the weekly chart are still rather open. They have not started to close up, but we are seeing that action on the price action on the daily chart, where the Bollinger Bands are kind of pointing it, beginning to, hook around, which would indicate some tightening on the price. And so again, but we have a green ready line here. But I believe there's more downside to this. So this could just be some noise in the market. And we'll see exactly how this will play out. When I see these Bollinger Bands, very, very tight movement to the upside on the lower portion of the Bollinger Band. So this would indicate that the 21 is going to be a relatively strong level of support. And we see that on the weekly chart. It is support on the weekly, and the 1 ATR has been acting as a pretty strong support level. So we may see this hold here at the between the 1 and the 2. Right now we're just right at the 2 ATR, but I would like to see this pull back a little bit more, and we may see that still happen to the downside on the Qs. As far as trades, I tell you what, I saw, let me go to Amazon and kind of let you see what I'm seeing here. Um, this right here, setting up on Amazon, looks like a Head and Shoulders to me. Um, so we've got, we got the shoulder here, we've got the head, we've got resistance right here. Amazon needs to get over this resistance, and so if we cannot break this level, this price level, let's say 35.50, and we go down and we break down and break this trend line and break the daily 50. I don't, this could be looking rather ugly for Amazon, but, so there's some caution here. And so we're going to be looking at this here going into, the next. So in other words, the word for the day on Amazon is patience, waiting for the setup. I don't know, we got in and then we got out. We kept a little bit of our credit. We had a credit spread. We did run this down here and made a really great profit when we caught this we sold on this candle here. We bought way down here on this break here, and this was so we bought some call credit spreads on this, and did very, very well, and sold it right here. Come back in. We put a credit spread on right here a few days ago, and we decided to jump out of it yesterday, just because this level of resistance. This is a little risky, I think. Playing this right here, I really want to see this get above this price level, this 35.23 right here, and actually we're going to call it more like 35.50. So I'd really like to see get above 35.50 and hold that for support, and then we can go after the all-time highs. I just wanted to kind of point that out, what I was seeing in the VIX. Tesla is another one that I believe Tesla is behaving with this market that we're in. Tesla's looking really good, and so we've got a buy signal here. It is a little extended. I don't, this right here was the buy. When this dip happened a few days ago, it might have been rather scary, but we caught a good level of support down here at the 1 ATR, negative 1 ATR, and this would have been a good buy. So with that being said, guys, keep your eye on the VIX. The word for the day is going to be patience. I think patience is going to be our best friend. And keep your emotions in check, because that is my challenge each and every day, to keep my emotions in check and to have patience to wait for my setup and what I'm looking for in today. So my bias going into tomorrow, I'm going to be probably a little bearish today on the markets. I believe the setups are bearish. And so with that being said, that's how we see things shaping up here for today. And that's what I'm going to be waiting for my particular setup, and going to be cautious. And I'm going to remind myself that cash is a position that, you can't lose money if you're not making decisions. And it could be a positive thing if just hold on to your cash. So with that being said, make sure you trade your own money, you lose your own money, manage your risk, be cautious, and be patient. Be patient. I am going to be working on my patience all day long today, and I'm sure the markets are going to be testing my patience. So you guys have a great Thursday trading. Have a great day, and we will